So beyond Pluto, there's the Kuiper Belt. And as I've mentioned in a previous video, the Kuiper Belt is a region of the solar system loaded with planets, or planet-like objects similar to Pluto, probably called dwarf planets. And even beyond the Kuiper Belt, which by the way is spelled Kuiper, is what's called the Oort Cloud. Now, some people have said that the Oort Cloud is what will doom us to our solar system. As mentioned previously, the sun will eventually expand to become a red giant, ultimately to sort of fizzle out into this ring nebula, leaving behind the core being a white dwarf. If we want to survive beyond the lifespan of our sun, which, you know, we've got time, right? We got 4 or 5 billion years to figure this out. We'll have to get through the Oort Cloud. So in order to become truly interstellar, we would have to get through the Oort Cloud. However, to become interstellar, really realistically, you need to go at enormous speeds. Otherwise, the distance is just too great. We'd have to figure out warp speed or some sort of wormhole travel, some way to get across these vast distances that are trillions and trillions of kilometers, which I'll explain in another video. So what would happen then if we achieved these speeds, traditionally in a rocket or some sort of spaceship, and pushed through the Oort Cloud? Because the Oort Cloud envelops the entire solar system. Whereas the Kuiper Belt is like a donut around the solar system, the Oort Cloud extends it like an envelope all the way around. And it's loaded with bits and flecks of leftover solar system dust. When the sun first ignited and pushed material outward, it settled into the Oort Cloud, and it's remained gravitationally attracted to the sun. To push through that at the great speeds we would need to achieve in order to become interstellar in a realistic amount of time, any one of those small bits of grains of material that is in the Oort Cloud would rip our spaceship to pieces. Now, would that mean we'd just simply arrive at the Oort Cloud and then slow down and make our way through? Or would we design our spaceships with some sort of a plow that would sort of push these things aside as we made our way through? I don't know. I mean, it's so far off in the future. It's such an unrealistic thing to consider being interstellar, but it is something we'd have to consider. Now, I say this, bearing in mind, of course, that when we left the Earth to visit the outer planets in the 70s with the Voyager mission, we didn't know if we'd make it through the Asteroid Belt, which resides between Mars and Jupiter. We thought maybe pushing through the Asteroid Belt, which is on the plane of the ecliptic, which I've mentioned in a previous video, that one of those asteroids would wipe out our spaceship. But it didn't happen. Because the reality is, if you took all of the rocks, the asteroids, the dwarf planets, there's even a dwarf planet in the Asteroid Belt named Ceres, C-E-R-E-S. It's 1,000 kilometers across. It's the biggest asteroid in the Asteroid Belt. If you put them all together, it would only make a body about the size of the moon. So if you break the moon up and spread it out into this massive ring around space between Mars and Jupiter, there's a lot of space there. There will always be a lot of space in space. So, in fact, we pushed right through, with the Voyager mission, the Asteroid Belt, and we didn't get wiped out. But there was a thought that maybe we would. And perhaps it's like that with the Oort Cloud. Maybe we just fly right through and have no problem at all. I don't know. One day, maybe we'll find out. Until then, we can only guess. But it's a fun thing to think about.